Hey guys, it's me Tan or TanSImBun, and today we are doing a Kerbal Space Program 2 trailer breakdown and review and my reaction to that trailer. So I'm gonna do this trailer, these two, well not these two but these two. So the developer story and then cinematic, but I'm gonna do the cinematic first because that is the more information and that sort of stuff. So yeah, let's get into it. Turn my fan down. The moon, I guess. It's supposedly set in the near future, the technology mean. But it looks really good. I've watched the trailer, but you know, this is just gonna be so much better than normal Kerbal Space Program. If the graphics are this good in the actual game, it'll probably be better than, like, definitely. The game is definitely going to be better than the first one, but I mean, Kerbal Space Program. Wow. Kerbal's also funny. Like, I love Kerbal Space Program. So let's just go back a second. Where is it? Okay, so this part here, it looks like a cupola module. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but it's sort of like a viewing port on a space station. Maybe it's one of those parts. This part looks the same, the engine looks the same, you know, most of the stuff is the same. Except maybe the solar panels and whatever. Oh no, those are just fuel tanks. Okay. Also in Kerbal Space Program, the first one. And then the Kerbal slips, and then you know, you guys have seen this. And then he breaks it, and then I actually wonder how they get that in this whatever it is. If there's like a storyline, maybe. It'd be cool if there was a storyline in Kerbal Space Program. This rocket, it looks really cool. I think they did the same kind of rocket with the first Kerbal Space Program trailer. Sorry, my nose is a bit drippy or whatever. I did the same sort of rocket. So this looks like let's go back. Okay, that space plane looks like I don't know, some sort of new futuristic space plane or something. And then this is the big thing. So Kerbal Space Program 2 is essentially going to be set in like the near future. So it's going to have not light speed technology, but fast technology, stuff that is near future, sort of like in The Expanse you get the Epstein drive, sort of something like that. But yeah, and you're gonna be able to colonize planets, like properly colonize, not like stupid little space station things in Kerbal Space Program 1, the first one. And they have artificial gravity, and this looks like that new space plane. A really big engine, which I'm hyped for this game, guys. You should be too. So supposedly we can do all this sort of stuff. We can, I don't know, build whatever. It supposedly is also going to be a multiplayer version. I mean, not version, like multiplayer game. Now this looks like a colony ship of sorts or something that to get you from space to another solar system. Supposedly they are gonna have multiple solar systems. I'm not sure about that, but I think they are definitely. As you can see, this thing is massive. Like, just look here. Okay, look at the size of this giant rocket or whatever, compared to like a tiny little Kerbal over here. It's gonna be massive. This game, it's probably gonna be as big as Cyberpunk 2077, maybe. And then yeah, and supposedly it's also gonna be easier for new players to Kerbal Space Program, and easier how you like do stuff and that sort of thing, like how you get to orbit, and something I've technically been struggling with in our Kerbal Space Program series so far. So yeah. Some sort of futuristic lander. This part of the trailer is the best part. It's so beautiful. Just the looks of the game. It's gonna be so great. I mean, you can see just like all this stuff looks like stuff that we'd be able to build. Maybe not this part, but all the like this part and the habitats. It's gonna be a very cool game. I really hope that it's what the developers say it's gonna be. So yeah. This game is gonna be. It's definitely one on my bucket list. It's coming in 2020 to PS4, Xbox One, and PC. So supposedly the PC game is getting first, then the console games. I can't wait for this game. It's definitely on my bucket list, along with Cyberpunk 2077. So yeah, let's watch the developer story.
The pressure of the first big game you're working on, all of a sudden it's a thing that's like, you really can't talk about it to anyone.
I was coming to work with butterflies each day.
Whew, this is by far the biggest thing I've ever worked on. And I try not to let it go to my head and try not to like get too in the clouds about it.
My parents have wondered what I have been working on for the longest time. It's always like two questions that come out. It's like, one, are you still employed? And two, can you tell me what you're working on?
My brother's a big fan, so like this is like a big secret I had to keep from him. I don't even know what to say. Hey, look, I'm working on KSP2.
Kerbal Space Program 2. It's gonna look so much better than the first Kerbal Space Program.
In general, get an opportunity to work on something that has sort of been at the center of your consciousness, or it's something that you feel genuine desire to work on. And from that perspective,
I'd like to
this
work in
opportunity
Kerbal Space Program.
Very hard for me to process even
I'd
now.
love to actually do that. So they obviously did a lot of sort of research on the game, like real life stuff, space stuff.
I think for me, I've always had a space fascination. So the idea of working on this game is really speaks to me, because I can go there and do these things that I couldn't before. I'm an explorer at heart.
This is a game that merely gives you toys to play with and an infinite playground in which to play with them. And the things that you
so
and an infinite playground in which to play with them.
This rocket it's actually a real life rocket. It was proposed that it never worked, it never flew, but it was proposed that they would drop nuclear bombs behind the rocket, and that would propel the rocket forward by the explosion of the nuclear bomb. It was dumb. It was really dumb. The idea of dropping an atomic bomb like right behind you and then it exploding and pushing you forward. You can easily die from that sort of stuff, but it had its reasons, because it pushes things. It will probably push you in space.
And the things that you create, the problems that you solve, they can be as challenging as you want them to be. I haven't yet found the upper limit of what you can do, even in the original game. And we're expanding it times 1,000.
So they still will be working on Kerbal Space Program, the first one, but
science and turn it into
fascinating it times 1,000.
KSP has always been a fascinating game to me. There are very few games that have been able to take science and turn it into something that's truly fun.
There is nothing like Kerbal Space Program. That first moon landing I got, when I actually achieved it and designed a rocket that could do it under my own power, there was a sense of achievement and satisfaction that I had never gotten anywhere else. My experience with the game was, after playing it for a little while, I accidentally learned a lot about physics and about orbital mechanics and about the history of rocketry and about the way rockets work. And I learned it all by accident.
We're building a platform. We want to make sure that really everything that we do, the community is able to do. I've always been a fan of developers that share their process and interact with the community, have forums, have Reddit posts, and Kerbal Space Program has consistently, over the last 8 years, been responsive to community feedback and gone back and forth with them on designing things. That's the reason why I'm in this industry. I wouldn't have become a game developer if it wasn't for developers inspiring me and sharing their experiences and their work.
In Thrust we
In
trust.
the beginning, there were two guys.
See that guy's shit. It's cool shit.
In the beginning, there were two guys. It was sort of an experiment. Back then, we worked on every new release, thinking it may be the last. We had no idea it would explode the way it did.
When someone in the community says this is the best game ever made, that means a lot for us. We're just trying to keep it going.
It is. It's one of the best Call of Duty.
The community is very strong.
The best space games I think that have ever been created.
Of the game is done thanks to the
Man,
community.
probably.
They always surprise us
one of the best.
with things they come up with, what we give to them, and they get back to us.
It's so big and so important. I mean, the community lives it and feels it and loves it.
Half of the fun about
Kerbal
Kerbal is failing.
KSP.
When you start playing KSP, you would most likely crash the first time. You will learn through failing, but each time you will get a bit further and further away, and there's always this great reward that is you being able to do something by yourself without anyone teaching you.
Oh, come on, internet. Seriously? Seriously? Game, come on. Okay, let me plug my LAN cable in, maybe that'll help. There we go, LAN cable. Huh? What? No, it's not there. Wait. I really don't know my way around my computer. Oh, there's it. Come on, get in. There we go. Okay, there we go. Should be. Come on, game. Seriously? Are you serious?
Kerbal
go back
you
a few
being able
seconds.
to do something by yourself without
Okay.
anyone teaching you.
Kerbal Space Program is one of the most scientifically motivated games in history. It's a game that attempts to simulate essentially NASA. So Nate's asking me questions like we were at a conference together. So I go to conferences to learn about the details of the formation and evolution of planetary systems and kind of what are the limits of the future space telescopes and things that we're going to build. And he's asking me, so how come planets, how come these types of planets form this far out and those don't? And how close can planets actually orbit together? And how is their composition affected by tidal distortion?
That looks so
these are
cool.
questions that you need to run large-scale simulations to figure out the answer to, and we still don't know astrophysically. We're trying to observe these things. So he's exactly the right sort of person to lead an effort to take something realistic and turn it into something fun. We've had quite some arguments over email about how close can these planets be together. Is that crater really physical? Can a methane lake really exist at that distance from the star? All this kind of stuff. And I kind of want to know why he's asking these questions.
I mean, this is supposedly that same craft from the other video. Just look how massive this thing is.
Can a gas giant
Just
theoretically be stripped down to its core by a stellar event of any kind?
Do they even have a core?
So there is a story that we can tell around high-speed oblique collision, recent, so that there hasn't been an opportunity for this lava to cool.
Normal stars in the main sequence have a specific temperature and brightness, and we believe from observations that essentially those two are locked together. They're codependent.
I mean, that was a light bulb moment, right? There's something I've never seen in popular media. Have you?
The big ring system?
Oh, well, no, the notion that a young star system might be full of ringed planets. I've never heard that in my entire
People
life.
barely talk about young star systems at all.
The importance of Kerbal Space Program is that it's more than just a game.
Yeah.
It is the ability to
It is
learn
more than a
and
game.
to really grow as a person. It allows you to appreciate this universe that we're in
It's an idea.
and the world around us.
And yeah, it's a great thing.
When I was thinking back to my first experience with Kerbal Space Program, the thing that I think appealed to me most about the experience, and I didn't realize it at the time, was that it's inherently optimistic. That you're creating something from nothing. You're creating a space program. You're essentially, in our game, creating a civilization that spans multiple solar systems. And I can't think of anything else
that they just confirmed that Global Space Program 2 is going to be interplanetary, intersolar, whatever. It's going to be multiple solar systems, which is so cool.
that's that optimistic right now in popular culture.
ASP-1 is the exploration of our nascent space program up to modern day, and KSP-2 explores the near-ish future of what this could be.
Exactly what
Dr.
I'm
Robert
saying.
Zubrin talks about how we view the year 1492. There's a bunch of stuff that happened that year, but we only remember one thing that happened that year because it had immense material impact on our current lives. And I think that's probably more true of the people who are advancing space exploration right now. We're going to be naming landmarks after the people who are currently advancing that quest.
Definitely.
We're in a golden age of astrophysics, and space astrophysics in particular. As flagship missions get bigger and bigger and more ambitious, are we going to be able to do the next generation of them? That will be even bigger and more ambitious. Where's the limit?
But my question is, when in 2020? So, that's gonna be it, guys, for this review, breakdown, reaction. Guys, like, subscribe, turn post notifications on. Thanks for watching. Peace out.